Welcome everyone to Essentials.tf and welcome to your continued coverage of the ETF2L season. That's right, we're starting our ETF2L season kind of a little bit later in, as we already been doing some Prem qualifiers. We've finally decided who has gotten into the Premiership division of ETF2L 6v6 Winter 2025. That's season 49 for all you people paying attention at home. So week one, it is going to be the introduction of two teams, one a brand spanking new team and one team you've kind of seen waiting in the wings before, but now under a new banner. But before I introduce them, let me introduce my casting crew. Welcome into the channel, Domato. How are we doing, Domato?
Ahoy. I mean, I'm part of the crew, right? Part of the crew, part of the ship. And the other part of the ship, I take that wheel out of your hands, is Samus on production. Doing it all in the backgrounds, but... or background, not even backgrounds, there are multiple ones. But honestly, Turbo, I have some tabs on those rosters here, and if you, alongside with the crowd, sat with ants in your pants, I have something against that. ANTICIDE, it is the big team with a lot of big names. If you can't wait for the inception of that very nice game conciliatory crowd, then we have Pandemic on the Pocket Scout, Manix on a scout that is not a pocket scout, Blank on pocket, Ryan on Roma, as you've always been seeing him. We'll talk about a little bit of the storylines of those teams. Yuji on a Demo Man, Demolition Guy, and Theos coming in theocratically on the medic class. But Venomcrest, Turbo, your obvious pick. Who has players playing?
Well, my players playing, we've got Vanu and Junu playing the scout classes. I'll keep them a tight secret between who's playing pocket and whatnot. I assume it's still Vanu playing pocket, but hey ho, they might have changed teams and started yelling at Junu instead. And we've got Tirem and KN playing the soldier classes. Tirem, I believe, playing the pocket, KN playing the Roma. But, you know, what is a pocket nowadays but a second Roma? Eon will be playing that lovable medic, and Yak, the centerpiece of the entire thing, Joseph here with his team on Venomcrest. All right, so obviously these are two very different teams, Domato. Like one already kind of born from the ashes of some other teams that have been playing for a while, and they've all come together, played at LAN, had a fun time playing at LAN together, and decided to play some online TF2, even though in a small conversation I had with them at LAN, they said, I'm never touching that shit. But they lie. They've all made it here into the online season. And ANTICIDE, though, that's a brand new team, though. Am I right?
They always, by the way, do be lying. That is what is sort of a common factor, common denominator, lowest common denominator of TF2 teams. They always say, I'm never touching that again. And then, you know, in their mind, until the next ETF2L season hits. By the way, what will be a hit here is that we're starting on process first. Maybe those two storylines get introduced into double time. ANTICIDE was Team A, they banned Sultry, then Venomcrest banned Bagel, and they picked process. We're here on process. After that, we have Sunshine. So two maps, you already called it out, ANTICIDE, brand new team, but old school players. I have some tabs to get introduced later here, depending on what is going to be a star player for me, but also as a little, input, you can also watch other games. Sometimes, obviously, you're here with us, you stay with us, but there's also another game parallel going on, being covered on princestream.gg. Also, we have the Mendem versus Garda Panteri game. So, you know, Turbo, it's always nice of these teams to schedule it so you can't cover anything at all. And then you have like 6 days where there's nothing happening.
Yes, it's just a consequence, I guess, of those weeks. You know, they want to get the practice in. They've got two maps that they need to just craft away at, and they've only got 4 or 5 days to do it in. So they leave it to the last possible day of the official week, which is a Thursday. So it goes to show that there's a lot of keen beans, because I'm going to level with you, Domato. This is a very keen season. This a game could be taken off of anybody here, from anyone, from any place.
That's very abstractly said. Who's your money on this matchup?
Well, in this particular matchup, this game, there's a lot of hype behind ANTICIDE. I've been listening to the whispers in the winds, and obviously these names have a lot of clout to them, but the team has not. The team has not established that clout yet. It is week one after all, so if there's going to be any growing pains, this is where you're going to see them. I think they'll take one map. I think they'll take their own map, but I think Venomcrest have been playing together for a while now, And I will admit, maybe not quite as star-studded in some of these names. I think some of the other players of ANTICIDE have come back of winning a LAN. So when Yak and his boys rock up from third place from said LAN, they're probably not feeling, maybe as good on the predictability. But still, I think they're going to walk away with their map choice, which is Process.
As we look onto this double fence here on the midpoint on Process, I've been realizing we are sitting on the fence a little bit too long, and we're trying to ameliorate the situation. But you know what's up. You're all here. This is absolutely hype. I mean, this entire season is hype. Honestly, we saw 4Fans versus Witness Gaming earlier. What a fantastic, great game that was to witness, as they were also, not sitting on the fence all that long. I'm going to say, though, not opposing you too much in that sort of notion, which is a bit boring, I'd say, but Venomcrest probably have the biggest shot here at taking down a big name early on in the season against a team that is newly and freshly formed, since I'm already, expecting the archaic and antique antics of running heavy to mid or something like that. They are always good for a little bit of an underdog story around Yak, maybe putting Venom into the crew.
Yeah, I think the hardest thing they have to deal with is making the switch from to the online. Finding those Ethernets and actually plugging them into computers, because they say they are a LAN team, and will it convert to online? Basically, that's the big question. Anyway, it sounds like we have started. We've taken away the DM mods, and we have transported both teams to their respawn. We're about to start this game. It's our first match. It's Process. We're already rock on mid. What's happening, Tomato?
Well, everyone is going to unlock their avarices here for the enemy team, and already trying to circle here counterclockwise. Eon so weak early on the inception of that mid fight. He catches another sticky, which was so weak from earliest spam, but now they, congregate onto Thea's face. Both medics out of the fight. Vanu on 50 HP on that heavy weapons guy.
Yeah, they've come straight out of the gate with the heavy weapons guy. This is already going to be kind of hard and difficult for a team like ANTICIDE, because you don't really scrim against this every day. This is an average TF2, so you probably haven't gone through all the bells and whistles of what you need to do to deal with this heavy weapons on the midpoint. It started off early. The plan was get Eon down and play from there, but once you take out that medic, it just sets the eyes red for the rest of Yak and his company, and they just take out Theos later on and wipe up everybody in the aftermath.
Honestly, it was simply a solo soldier almost bombing in, being the hero all along, showing the big guns. The artillery, the fabled one, was into action, but now it seems to slow down a little bit as both medics build equally. We have Vanu, classic, very classic sixes meta, if you've watched it here in Sur, walking toward Al-Qaeda, but KN is only really spamming from afar, and they are watching each other timidly. As much action as this entire fight started with, it already tranquilized down.
Yeah, if you're wondering what on earth is this heavy weapons guy, take your notepads, boys and girls. Usually the heavies kind of played more of a surprise factor, especially with that minigun that he's rocking, the one that goes all silent around the corner. You could just insta-gun someone down if they just decide to tiptoe out of a flank. Speaking of flank, they've actually sent 3 players behind over on ANTICIDE to see if they can kind of cause some ruckus, maybe get a back going.
Eon drops!
Oh, Eon has dropped, yes, as I flick back over to the second, and this is a free Uber. Theos just immediately pops onto Pandemic. He finds 1 kill in the shape of Vanu, but apart from that, nothing's really came of it.
Theos is charged by Juno, who tears him a new one, and this cavalry of scouts is able to be the cleanup crew on the front, blank battling against Yak, but has a very able help of a Pandemic to fight in the fray. Anyway, that was solo play almost onto Ryan, equalizing things great. Also, you were talking about the surprise factor of a heavy. I was quite surprised how little damage was coming in from that heavy, long range, but it was really Ryan opening the doors up so very wide. The problem is Theos went down to the follow-up aggression.
Eon brought down very low. It's a very sheepish sort of situation. They're trying to see if they can just pick off what little players they can first get their hands on, but Menix is going to respond in kind, swapping a soldier for a scout, and they still don't want to give this up. They've got the respawns on their side, and eventually they realize this over on ANTICIDE. They back out with their entire squad, plus they're a bit scared because Eon did come back that little bit earlier, so he will have that Uber charge that bit sooner.
They also realized early on that Blank was a little bit shooting blanks there in the midst of it, not really connecting anything, and the curtain fire was not enough to deter them from walking forward. 20% disadvantage also were in the Medigun of Atheos, but now they're realizing that they're not only going to be buffed up to full fitness, now they have a very able Ubercharge up to contest this, and KN is the earliest victim.
Yak brought down low. He needs a crossbow if he wants to get back into this fight. They've actually popped Uber, and they've ended up dropping Yak in the back foot of this Uber charge now. And with no demo man, this is going to be a very tired affair to hold on to at mid. They're going to have to give it up. And oh my god, they might even have to give up second at this rate.
Baby, give it up, not anymore, as already Ryan is jumping in, but the huge air shot to deny the soldier. It only flings him forward toward that little safe spot of the plateau to land upon and prowl up on Pride. Now both medics on par in the medic gun situation, but Vanu, sticky diffused is what you call that scenario.
Yeah, so with one less player, and they're maybe humouring the idea of see if they can get more pick-off play, Tyram is going to be peppered, but not quite sprayed over on the 5 door, and yeah, this allows all the other doors to actually not be paid attention to. The scouts are in, they're looking at the points, and Yak is already setting up stickies to make sure it's well uncovered. Varnu's come back on his main class on heavy weapons guy, and Ryan is making sure there's no sentry gun happening for all of this fight. No 7th man for you. Menix is even going to get Tyram over on the flank as well. They are still fighting this over on Anticide. Far too greedy for my liking. They're going to get punished, and just in time for 100% Uber on Eon.
Also didn't know how to deal with the heavy weapons guy. Sometimes if our off-weapon or off-class choice rather doesn't work out, Juno catches a few stray pipes, then the heavy weapons guy might mire in obscurity. But the fact was, or the matter of fact was, he was being shot down to half HP, but the main problem is that all this aggressive splash damage classes, or the aggressive splash damage classes, were conglomerated up upon the same spot of the blue team, but now they're all up again, and let's see, I think they want to take this Uber exchange here, buffing their scouts up already.
Oh, Tyram brought down very low. Eon missing 3 crossbows in a row. There we go, finally evens out. Juno getting a kill, finally a kill, bringing out for
Blank is in panic.
Venomcrest, just to kind of to calm things down. Sorry, I was panicking just as much as Venomcrest were for a second there, but they have finally settled over on the side of Anticide. They have an opportunity to go for an off-class, because someone did go down during all of that, but they choose not to. Or are they? No, they're bringing Menix over onto the sniper class now, so let's see what he can come up with, if they can kind of fish them out of this last point stalemate. But it's going to be hard. They've got this sentry gun to deal with.
Menix the Menace. Let's see if he can peek a little bit from afar. We have Tyram and even Juno. We have a double spy. I want to say that they're checking off classes.
Checking.
They checked, yeah, I mean, we already checked without disguising. We both have a spy. That's fantastic. But Juno and Menix is probably going to be the head-on-head sniper battle that we'll see ringing out. Juno tried to snipe Hugie, but he's not deterred. Menix now being buffed up to full fitness.
Blank brought down low, not quite finished off, however, and Kane and Tyram are trying to just see if they can just deter the sniper from playing in this lobby area, and he will be pushed outside, but give him enough opportunities. Eventually the sniper's going to come up with something, and same with the Juno sniper as well. Yeah.
Which one? They're all routed rather from the same direction. Tyram only spams a little bit from afar, but we see already 7 minutes have withered away, but so much action. Menix is speaking from rollout here.
Oh! He's got KN immediately on site, and this is going to give him a bit of confidence now. Oh my god, Ryan goes down in the same as well. We're just trading. Oh, Juniors go down. The counter sniper is down. Panic situations. Yak starts spamming one now, but Menix is still peeking. He wants to go for another crack shot, maybe a bit more hero with it, but isn't quite working out this time. They've actually thrown Pandemic straight into the threat, despite there being a sentry gun. They use the Uber charge over on Eon now and see if they can maybe catch some foray during all of these sorts of off-classing and all these people weaseling in. KN has finally come back to the world of living, but look at the awful situation that's happening here.
Menix the Menace, an easy push now from Anticide. Not only good against Ants, no, also good against Snakes. Apparently, you called it, like you could have only seen it from Menix's point of view. I think 3 or 4 headshots and also a passive frag onto Yak, who then had to overcommit to try to lock the enemy sniper out, but was absolutely vulnerable since the beam was not connected to him to this counter aggression of the scout. Ended up with them losing 3 players, then losing Eon again to another headshot. Menix was such a very pivotal part of that entire push working, but won a second mid fight here, Turbo.
It's fine. New mid, new me. Yak brought down very low. Yak wants to get out. I think he just immediately starts turning around. He's left poor Vanu and Tyram kind of waiting in the wings. They decide to maybe humor going back in. I guess that's just calls of Tyram saying like, I'm doing amazing damage. Come in, come in. But it's too late. They've already backed out. Yak doesn't like it. And that's another mid given up.
I like how 3 players wanted to hit the air shot, but it was ultimately Theas with the quarrelsome quarrel for the enemy team, and the retinue in Tau was a little bit lackluster down at the end result of it. Eon is staying on this little balcony. Both medics still intact in terms of, well, living apparently, which is the most crucial part here. But you see so many weak players on blue try to cook something up through IT area, but IT stands for intelligence since no one was able to be caught out.
Well, let's see if the information I don't know how to follow up that. That's but no, their intelligence is so much.
Just make up words.
Yeah, hopefully they can get the computers out and crack how they're going to deal with this second point. And,
I think I see a bug.
Let's see. I see Menix and Ryan going for like a flank play. They trade out Menix, but they do crack the flank in. So Ryan does have opportunity to bring in from the flank. They're turning around now because he has been called out. But Vanu manages to go at the exact same time that Ryan was pushing from top. He finally meets up with him now and almost equalizes it. And because of this little play and shenanigans happening at Choke, it actually will go Venomcrest's way and start pushing the advantage on their side.
That's 3 men down, my man. Hughie leaving with a tail between his legs. The rest of the players hurry and scurry out alive, but IT again had Doom embroidered on it as already KN is on so fast onto Theas, forcing the medic. Sorry if your guinea pig again jumped up high, but this warrants it. Those soldiers, man.
I don't know why they're shocked by that KM making that jump in. It's a very common soldier jump to come in at this point and landing on the exact same spot. It's usually you have people preemptively checking the choke, checking the sky. Tim's going to kind of jump in to see if he can create some room for his team to maybe bust through a choke. And during all that as well, Blank tried to do his own little version, but actually ended up messing up the rollout slightly. Eon, of course Eon's going to go down to the sniper as they try to bust through this choke called Greedy.
You say all this, but careening against the wall, it goes no. Menix. Menix wants to collect all these frags, like his own team is just an hindrance. They're stealing all of his frags.
Well, Vanu's waiting around the corner, hoping to pick on somebody. Does get the trading kill onto Hughie there, but sad state of affairs for Venomcrest. They did everything right there, and it still went drastically wrong for them.
They need to tighten the script at any rate, as Eon was trundling so very aggressively and now is doing a insanely high bomb, but apparently no one is going to pull through that choke. Juno though pulls up to the faction, and Ryan has his friend in Tau. 2 players down at the advent of that Uber pop, and already 2 players lacking on that defense. Blank now shooting, not blanks anymore. A lot of damage coming in.
Yeah, they just played off what little Uber they had, and they picked on poor Yak, who wasn't really backed up at that time. Vanu was busy building a sentry gun while everybody else was dying on his team. It just goes to show that it's not all about the Uber charge being lost there. If you've got the numbers, you can still make a push out of it, and they've done so successfully, 2-0.
It was very beautiful. You saw the symbiosis of players walking aggressive and all being on the same wavelength that, yeah, we have 2 picks. We have 1 player capping the second point, pretty cookie cutter, and it was a big anathema for the enemy team being like fixated there on their own respawn queue and just on the high ground, couldn't really walk out anymore. But you see this 2-1 up already in the favor of ANTICIDE, and as you saw before, Yak's team was pushing that last, but ultimately not able to seal it off. Menix already very accomplished.
Yeah, Ryan already pressuring Yak, and even goes in for a second jump and to take out Eon on top of that. Yak goes down to the double scout, and now they just need to protect poor Theos, and they do a wonderful job over on ANTICIDE. They look warmed up. They don't even look warmed up, they look hot.
Really, really hot right now. They look so hot they forget to cap the midpoint. That's how hot they are looking. And also, I mean, that was a full wipe. That was fantastic. Could have maybe kept it earlier. Pandemic is now on this very boring duty. No frags for him to gain anymore, but, well, garnering their tactics, as now they have this 80% Uber advantage. Do they think they will stop? No. Do I think that they will stop? No. But how do you get this conversion rate into last year, Turbo?
Yeah. Well, let's see. We've got 60 minutes left. That's still a long time in FPS land. So just first point of order, just calm. Calm down. Don't start beefing. Don't start making the hero plays and making the whole situation worse. Anyway, they pop it in Uber. They have to take out the sentry gun first, and we already checked. Now they're already pressuring the point. Pandemic, check. Now the next course of orders is to find whatever picks they can from this side that they played. It's already working out badly though, because Tyram is not only staying alive, but getting kills, getting damage, and getting out.
Zero follow-up on this damage. Damage is nice, but damage is not enough if a team has a resupply locker very readily available to them. Who would have known that one? But all irony involved, well, aside, irony involved, but irony aside, now the heavy really well worked out in that sort of sense. And now 50% Uber advantage. Let's see if Manix is still on sniper.
Yeah, it's the boogeyman. They're going to be checking their closets tonight for the Menex sniper. It's been an absolute monster for them, and they just haven't really been able to cope with it as well. Every time it's been picked up, it's equaled some sort of result, and that's got to put a bit of shivers in the spine. This is their map pick, need I remind you, Domator?
Yeah, please remind me.
It's their map pick, Domator.
Oh, really? Yeah, it was sort of evading my mind, who would have thought. But you see, the just passiveness of like Manix being up there, getting a fully charged body shot onto one player, equalized 50% Uber in their own stakes. So now it's back to square one here. It's 15 minutes left and it's 2-0 up for ANTICIDE.
Where is the Manix cam? I'm immediately going onto the shutter door. They're staying out of the sightlines as best they can, and Manix is going to be a good little sniper and start rotating between all these different little doorways. And, oh, Blank going down there, buddy. I'm not sure you should be going that aggressive when you've got your sniper on the field. Fortunately, Ryan's going to bail you out. Gets a pick onto Tyram, and well, things are all as well. And wow, they're actually trying to get aggressive here. And yeah, they'll pop off Uber over on Venomcrest, but with 2 players down, I mean, yeah, there is a sniper on your team, so maybe it's like a pseudo 4 versus 4 right now. But you popped first, and now you have to get out first. Ken, for success. Oh, the sniper! My God, the Greeks are going to be known for 2 things after this map: great food and good snipers.
You can't even hide on the Acropolis to hide away from him, because he has a wonderful sniper sideline from the Acropolis for that. Tyram is shut down. You saw how aggressive Yak was early on. Blank shooting against the enemy soldier who tries to bomb him. KN wants to mollify the situation. Yuji now is spawning and putting out the pipes. The plumber is in tow. Ryan, though, gets revenge onto Vanu, and they are turning this around.
No, the sniper. It just keeps going. It keeps delivering. Oh, man.
What on earth are we witnessing here? Everyone has just evasive movement on the enemy team, but you know what Manix says? I take that as a challenge. Come on, move how they move on tier walkway when they're up in the sky. Move on your target practice map. I don't care at all. He just doesn't miss.
Okay, I'm gonna... Okay, so this is some competitive math here, okay? Stay with me on this. You're getting owned by snipers, and you're like thinking, okay, what do we do? Bring out the heavy, the most snipeable class here in TF2. We're going to start rocking the heavy straight from the start. He's already at his Buffalo speed stake and he's walking into mid. He's going to turn up now. Tyram already starts off the mid dying, so that's a 5 versus 6, and the heavy is really only plays off well against all this chaos. They're blobbing up against one another, so maybe, but they've all blobbed up into a corner. Not really a place where the heavy can operate too well, and now there's no exit plan for the rest of Venomcrest. If they go down, that's it. They're not getting Eon out. They're just choking them out one by one. They're not even addressing the heavy weapons guy right now. They'll deal with him after. He is getting a couple of picks. I'll level with you, but they can pop off Theos's Uber in this Longstead fight and just calm things down a bit.
It was a very poor choice for that heavy weapons guy, honestly, very predictable as well, and weirdly curated at the end result of it, since, yeah, trying to rotate out, but obviously you're being surrounded from all different sides. Also, the heavy weapons guy to mid meant that Tyram, that was staring down the barrel of 3 players just looking at him.
Oh no, Vanu, save your friend syndrome, and now he's going to be saving him from beyond the grave. They've managed to weasel their way into this doorway. And
it's Happy Cadaver Day. Now probably going to make a fair arrangement of cadavers here, but 4 down, 5 down. You know what? You have 6 players, 6 players down. 4-0 for ANTICIDE. No, sorry. For the inventory. For ANTICIDE. For ANTICIDE. No. Like, I don't know, man. It seems to be taken away from Yak's team, honestly. Like, this heavy on the mid was, sorry, but a very predictable choice. And you saw why you don't do that. Losing your soldier in a 1v3 scenario because your complementary soldier is way too slow because he's a heavy. And do you think it will be a 5-0?
I mean, it might be 5-0 in the hearts of all these players already, and we're just playing it out. There's 11 minutes left. There's definitely going to be a 5th round on the board. I don't think it's going to be for the Venomcrest boys, but well, you know, who knows? You can make a believer out of anything. They're going to get in aggressive. Things go really desperate. You completely do a 180 sort of plan over from your original thoughts of how to contact this mid, and it immediately gets melted by all of the soldiers of ANTICIDE.
I was so happy. Juno won his 1v1 against Manix, and you see that, yeah, Juno is also pretty good, especially able to compete against Manix if he is not on Sniper. But the problem was the bomb was not finding Theus. Theus surfed out, and then it was all curtains from that on, because focus fire against players that already emptied their clips is only going to rain out that fast. And hopefully we are going to see a 10-minute mark here, but I'm trusting into the defensive team to maybe practice the Condok school of thought on Crits Creek.
Okay, they pushed in from 1 quick early and trying to get on top of anybody in heaven. They will find Tyram nice and early. They will even rotate sides, and yeah, they could potentially pick off KN. Very easy target. He does get a kill onto Menix, so one less scout in the world, and I'm not so sure about that Blank making that sort of backstab with the soldier class. Oh, he nice little kill there and to add some little hope to this last push, but it will get Theos out, fortunately.
Now I up this crit streak. Will Yak be eager to use it, since they were taking up to it in a timely fashion, able to scare out all the players since they rotated through Panic Room?
Tyram brought down low. He can't stick around to protect his teammate
yeah,
anymore.
But Gnostic is come in here. Juno on that scattered
back.
Manix on last, but Juno has his friend in tower there and completely cultivated. No, it's too late now. But problem is also too late for Venomcrest. Only 2 players up. Yeah, he's caught in the sky.
Eon in the air. He actually hits the kill bind.
How sheepish.
Pandemic was still fighting during all of this, keep in mind. Ancient Pandemic trying to keep the last warm for them as they cap out second. It's looking like a 5-0, but they're desperately trying to wriggle out here, just not let them pin them on the final second of this match.
It's a very sensible decision, but it's also ostensibly being, well, taken out of their hands again. It's Creek still up, but problem is Theos has full Uber. It's an even bigger disadvantage, as we saw in this penultimate push to last, and 80% now still, or 70, separate the crits from being up. Let's see if ANTICIDE tend to switch up their rotation. They pushed through to the Panic Room before, but didn't really find anything. Sentry Gun is being turned into scrap and bolts. Not still Pandemic, so low on HP.
Yeah, that was close there. They didn't have push from the same door where that sentry gun was lying, and that will cost them a bit of time in the Uber. Thus, some lives have been had. Vanu is going to be brought down low, switches back off, abusing those banny binds as much as possible. Blank trying to be a pest in heaven, but it won't quite work out, and they've got enough players, enough beating hearts to keep this defense lasting. They will lose Yak, however. That's like the free square of a bingo card. They've actually popped off crits in the panic there.
Not really sure what that was about, but Yak is still a late spawner. Yeah, don't correct me. Yak is still a late spawner. No, but they're going to delay Huge here. Also, Theos is going to spawn late, but you see this? Pull your very eager eyes to the forward spawn here, Turbo.
Okay, what am I looking at? I can't find. I see blood, guts. I don't see anything though.
Okay, Manix is just a mere figment. Manix is not real, kids. Don't worry. Don't check beneath your bed.
Ryan, though, is very real. He's actually hanging out in sewer, but I think they know he's there. Oh, surprise! Okay, he goes down. Allows Blank to come in for a hot second. Doesn't quite work out, but isn't too punished for it over on the side of ANTICIDE. They're going to back out.
Also looking very grim, bit austere there, staring the enemy team down, but able to claim this empty husk here. But now the crits, will that be an empty husk? 2 players already down, Yuji not able to stick down this spawn, and it is already KN on their own doorstep. Also Theus is surfing out, but only after he is losing so many players, only Juno left alive!
Oh, there's 2 soldiers. It's just so much health for one lowly scout to fight and deal with. He's even getting crossbowed. This game isn't fair, Domato.
Yeah, but where did they all die?
I think they just had the soldiers come back in time, and I think it was a Kritzkrieg as well. There was no guaranteed lives to be saved there. So when the crits came out, they just dogpiled onto them, and they started dying one by one.
SOS, save our souls, but not our bodies at the end result, but you do get reincarnated, which is the positive side effect. But Ion still chooses to stay on crits, and you know what? KN is on the rock, and he's probably going to rock from that position on.
I'm telling you, this Venomcrest team isn't really too much of a team when things get rocky, at least. They start doing their own little stories, their own little hero things. The kind of stubborn Pokemon that's just like, the numbers are too low and the numbers are too high. I'm not listening to you anymore. I'm just going to go and just do my own thing. Sometimes it works, though, and sometimes it doesn't. This is one of those doesn't situations.
But you know what they say, if the rock speaks, the pebbles are silent. So if Yak speaks, then maybe you're not switching off to crits, but the first and earliest crit sticky does not hit the face of the enemy team's medic. And now it is the blue Uber coming in, reaping all the results, which is Yak going down. But that was the earliest frag. Also TRM brought down to quite low on HP, and still Juno battling.
Oh no! Don't you hate it when you have to make a choice between dodging to the scout or dodging your own arrow from your own medic? Theos, he's on his own. He's probably going to go down here, and because he delayed his death, he's going to get a longer respawn. TF2 is such a cruel game.
Going to have a PN here to, or an elogy to decision making. I really like to dodge, you know, bolts from your medic because they can hurt you. They're quite spiky, but it is now Yak. And honestly, 5 minutes left in TCM Dream Territory land. This is still on the line here, but Kritzkrieg, I hope that they can at least nail one last point push.
All right, Kritzkrieg. Let's see if it can work out. It hasn't worked out just yet. I haven't seen like a big sort of Kritzkrieg moment. He pops out, gets medics to start off with. This is a wonderful crits in comparison to every other one that we've seen so far. Fios actually gets out. Blank is still alive, but there's just so many souls. I don't think if Blank had 20 rockets, he could kill everybody here.
They're swaying from one side to the other, and 4-1 it spells for them. You know, Turbo, what is a really decent strategy to help the enemy team nail their last push? If you all walk with 5 players on the front into the crit, so it makes it easier to be blown up. Not sure if they didn't have the information.
Oh my god. Let me write that down.
Yeah, wait, okay. Are you listening? Should I repeat it? No, but alongside that, do we see the comeback here?
Well, they've got 4 minutes. They need 3 rounds. I mean, if I start taking the math away and thinking how quickly they can, it is possible, but they'd have to literally have their monitors turned off over on ANTICIDE for this to happen.
We already said it though, both soldiers always high-fiving in the air, KN alongside with the blank, but Ryan is dealt with. Theos catching the earliest pipe of them all. They need to protect Ion, but he's already in the respawn queue. Now it's a full-out deathmatch fight. The artillery is full in swing, only Manix left alive, but we probably expect him to get a 5k or a 4k. If it is one player, it is him, but not this time. They can get another round here.
Yeah, this is a definition of winning the battle but losing the war. By losing Eon early on in that fight, they can't have the energy to continue this round at a speedy pace that they need to happen. And it made the objective very simple. If you have 5 people tunneling on the medic, that medic is likely to die in any game of TF2.
But what I like about this very energetic playstyle is that you're not caught in a stupor or trepidation. No, you are sort of expediting yourself forward 60%. You see Kritzkrieg again used, again, onto Yak, wants to hit all the shots or wants to be demolished, and then the scouts are the benevolent benefactors or recipients of that Kritzkrieg, but they are conglomerating up upon Al-Qaeda.
Okay, Kaon is going to be thrown in, or trying to buy some space. Will get picked off by the sticky, but there's some stickies of their own over on the Yak, and they actually make a little quick switch off to the scouts, and they're actually doing work. They've got nice foundational damage for Vanu to come in from behind and actually get out 4 kills in the aftermath. They're going to be capping second, but already pushing last here. They just need to stack point. It's going to be another round on the board. I mean, it's... Let's check the clock again. I see 2 minutes. I see 2 rounds needed. I'm going to say that the mathematical word again is mathematically possible.
You have to also account, if you check your clock, that you're in a different time zone, so they have 1 hour more on yours. No, just kidding. But honestly, if you look at it, that was so wonderfully played this time. Yak maybe not hitting the earliest crit sticky charge of them all, but it allowed the players, the enemy players, to congregate behind their own second point to avoid the damage, and that meant their own team scouts could push upon the high ground and then surround them from this on.
Brought down very low. Blank is going to punish for such digression, and yeah, now Juno is on the hunt. They're all set to like a speed mark 5 at this point now, just trying to find any sort of kill. They're actually going to leave Hughie behind and deal with the real problem. That's the medic Theos. He's really going to slow down the game if it comes down to it. There's 1 soul left. It's the demo man. He just reloaded all of his stickies just to die.
Couldn't they have done that 17 minutes earlier? How they're playing now?
Sometimes some people like to play games on the higher difficulty setting, you know?
Yeah, but why do they play it on an impossible difficulty setting? Because now it is not in the realms of mathematical possibility anymore. Unfortunately, they can make it to 4-3. I'm believing in them. Crit streak is now used by both medics. Theos says if you have 1 guard, let it be the crit streak guard, and I'm using that to my advantage.
Blank already busting through the choke, allowing some room. Tyram has just gone in, by the way. You think there's 5 players kind of missing from the choke, but no, there were all 5 there. They all could have protected that medic, but they couldn't quite protect from Tyram. He gets right on top of Theos. Party pooper, no cake for you.
He was also just trundling down there, not even like at such a low velocity. Maybe they... Oh, Hughie! Sticky trap! Hughie's nice. Can he hit the pipes? No.
Well, they're going to get second. I don't think they're going to get last, though. 4 seconds left. Not even going to cap second. Wow.
But now it's a 4-2, and you see 42. It is the answer to everything, you know, if you read books or are a bit boring, more boring and watch, like, TV. But in any case, if they've done that, like, as I was saying, 15 minutes earlier, might have had a chance here. It spurs them on, definitely, for Sunshine, but... I was already ready like for a 5-0 steamroll up until the 10-minute mark or 20 minutes have transpired into the accounting of this map, but they definitely pulled back.
Yeah, you're not lying, and well,
thanks.
You can draw a lot of conclusions from the sort of score lines for how this game goes. Was it a case of, you know, them pressing the gas pedal over on Venomcrest, or is it just ANTICIDE kind of easing off a bit, you know, maybe leaning back, going into that Banny pose and not quite taking the game as seriously? Or, you know, was it just Venomcrest like changing things up, literally trying anything and everything, and finally something sticks, but you haven't got any more time anymore?
Maybe they were altering the course either way. If you ever... or in every different site that you want to look at it. Honestly, you also might be staying tuned after that, because we do get the insight, mayhaps, in terms of interviews, because we, as casters, right now, we have to look not only on external like validation, patting ourselves on the shoulders, but we only see what is happening. We don't know the comps. We can only guess. But you know what you can also guess upon? Numbers. Numbers might be shown on the screen. We are looking at the logs. I'm only looking at...
Yeah, there's no guessing here, Domato. There's one, I can guarantee you what they're saying in the Venomcrest thing. Yeah, how the hell are you at the bottom damage? You're a demo man. You're the most smashable class in the game.
But if you look at space created by crit stickies glued to the environment and split open into open areas...
oh my god, he had crits at the end as well. I've just realized this. Oh my god.
Okay, calm it down a bit here. Those are Premiership level gamers. You see Eon dropping twice, Theos not dropping once, 11 medic charges, 6 crit streak charges, 6. I think all of them were used on Yak initially.
Well, I am going to just diagnose this as like it was just a serious outplay for the first 4 rounds. It was did they win any mid fights? They won some mid fights. They won like the first one, so it wasn't completely out of the running. There was some back and forth there, and there was some heartbreakers of them pushing to last, but not quite clinching it against ANTICIDE. So I don't think it was like a clear sort of super clean game, but I just makes me wonder if it was more down to ANTICIDE just kind of giving a bit of a relaxed breath rather than Venomcrest digging deep. The Kritzkrieg didn't impress me either. I don't think it obviously just put them in that good mindset, but that was just them digging deep, not the Kritzkrieg actually pulling anything out there.
Yeah, back in your days. But anyway, I only want to have a few, closing of thoughts here. We highlighted, or at least I highlighted, mostly Manix and the other scouts. Pandemic. Pandemic is top fragging in that very round, and he also doesn't die a lot. So 2.0 KD by a pocket scout who knows what to deal with and how to deal with being tanked by all those familiar heals. After that, it is Vanu and Junu coming in also in hot form with some decent KDs, 2.4 and 1.8 and 1.6. So they definitely showed what it was worth. They tried to keep alive for that much, but the main issue that you really saw that Manix was hitting every head that he could click.
Yes.
And then the crit streak was simply not working to the maximum extent.
You are 100% correct. I think if you just took out the Manix sniper in this, I think it would be a completely different scoreline for this game, and it was a complete headache, and I don't think there was ever a situation where they were on top of it or they were dealing with it. It was just a menace every single time it was slapped out, and that's got to be reassuring for ANTICIDE. You know, when things get going tough, they can trust the Greek to bring out the snipe.
They can also trust onto their playing their own map pick. Sunshine is now played, and that is ANTICIDE's team. The pick of that team, which is a bit of an issue if you look at it like from that sort of point of view. But I'm always a very big. I'm very big in favor. I'm championing for the fact that you don't really care about map picks. All of the maps are yours because you are the superior team. But you are on looking at like Venomcrest being on red, blue. Players are officiating the ANTICIDE forum, and now what do you expect here? Will it be a tighter scoreline?
No.
Nice.
Yeah, sorry. It's the fast in and out of it, and I'm pretty sure they're actually going to be in and out of it really quickly over on ANTICIDE, because I feel like this map doesn't feel like it fares well for Venomcrest, not just because it's the map pick of ANTICIDE, but I feel like it kind of goes against their strengths over on Venomcrest, which is their soldiers. I think their soldiers are going to be a little bit neutered. It's a very wide open map. You can very telegraphed some of these plays that the soldiers can make on this map, unless you start rotating around so much that the soldier hiding in cafe can kind of just do a walk-in bomb. But, you know, I think teams are getting a bit wiser at that. It seems to be the flavor of a lot of roamers at the moment. So they should have keeping track of that. But yeah, I'm worried about this team. And also, I don't think it really rocks the heavy too well on this map either.
Whilst I do agree in terms of soldier versus soldier, difference there. Sometimes I definitely do see the potential that KN and Tyrion bring to the table. The main issue that I'm looking at is the fact that even if Manix doesn't switch all that often to Sniper, then Manix and Pandemic versus Vanu and Juno. I mean, I saw Juno winning 1v1s, but I feel like they are already a little bit... don't want to say outclassed, but out MGE'd there at certain fights, and don't really see a difference maker in that sort of compartment. So the heavy was definitely some sort of desperation play at some sort. I mean, they're used to it, you know, and known for it, but they also didn't feel like anything else worked because their scouts were simply not winning the 1v1s. But I want to put it a little bit more on a professional pedestal here. I'm probably looking at a little bit of a slower game, since I hope for Yak's team that they can check their flanks and play a little bit more passive when things go awry.
Yeah, 100%. I'm trying to find the win condition here for Venomcrest. Whether or not slowing down the game, I'm not sure is one. I think the of sound body mind of Venomcrest had kind of not changed their entire principles as a team, you know, just because something goes wrong one evening doesn't mean they should change their entire play style. I think they'll double down, they'll go aggressive with it, and it either sticks or it doesn't. And you're going to find this out pretty quickly on these mids.
It's a lot of hypothetical guesswork here, so better ready up so you don't give us this opportunity here to only guess. I mean, honestly, I wouldn't even say that you are not being true to your own colors if you start playing passive. For me, a strength in a Premiership level team lies within adapting against the concrete matchup that you have and excelling in both parts, slowing down the game when you can, and being aggressive as you're used to being from the get-go. But we're still waiting our sweet time here. You talked about taking notes. If you have so many notepads, then you should be aware of every stratagem that is here laying bare in front of our eyes to see that helps Yak's team.
That helps Yak's team. Well, I mean, they can probably start running some sort of weird TF2. I mean, I said it wasn't fantastic, the heavy weapons guy on a mid like this. I don't think it's quite as versed as they do their process, but, you know, it's not unheard of. It's not impossible. You could still try it and just put them in a spanner in the works. You know, just play some weird TF2, get them out of the comfort zone. This is a new team. They're not going to be used to strange TF2. And it's even going to be harder for them to adapt on the fly because they're not used to playing each other.
I feel like they were very fast to adapt on the fly, honestly. Don't want to unequivocally disagree, but you saw when Yak's team ran heavy to mid, that third mid fight, it was so easily not only telegraphed, but they were so ready for it, since that was a 3 versus 1 against Tyrion, who had no secondary soldier juxtaposed next to him. So he was completely alone, died, then a heavy was there on the field, hello, but without heals, because your medic's also dead.
Well, let me put it this way, Domato. Maybe this is just week 1. Maybe they have so much more room to grow. Maybe they are a super team in the building here, but it is just early days. We're in season 1 of our anime team, ANTICIDE. Can they finish out their entire ETF2L match with a clean sweep of these 2 maps? If you're just joining us, I'm TurboTabs. With me is Domato and Samus on production. It's Venomcrest versus ANTICIDE. What's happening on mid, Domato?
Let's unleash the big squall here. Ryan already jumping so early onto Yak, controlling that little cafe tower, and without caffeine you're going to lag either way. Also, without a demo you have Sleepless Nights. Vanu is dancing around, running circles around these kids. Pandemic though is culled a little bit, and the Clutchels are out by KN in the enemy teams. Cafe only 3 players down on ANTICIDE.
It's not every day where you see someone lose their demo man immediately, but still win the mid. So this is good. This is reassuring. It goes to show that maybe you don't need to play regular TF2 over on Venomcrest to still succeed here. They just went out really aggressive with their scouts and started winning these skirmishes.
Do you see Manix got nuked out of mid-air, pulled forward, pulled backwards, no time for him to land anymore, no safe space either. Vanu is culled though, it's a 1v1 trade, but so weak players on to Yak's team, and they're being bombarded by this artillery of the soldiers, and it forces the Uber responsively.
What the hell are Venomcrest doing? It seems like everyone has a different plan about how they want to take this second here. Not a single person was working with one another, and they were just feeding in one by one. Ryan's still caught behind. That's probably the answer to why all of this is so kind of disconjointed and all over the place for Venomcrest. They've got too many sort of distractions.
Yeah, the problem is, if you have a lot of distractions, unfortunately, you do lack the core. You do lack the nucleus to back up to it. Now they are trundling toward that cafe area here for the blue brigade. Theus is buffing his players up. Ubers are equalized at this current state of mind, and Hugie has a state of mind of pushing forward, but Stickies are laying around, and it deters them from pushing any further since they were not really collecting the mirth forward. But now it's only building progress, and now stalemate.
All right. Now, they have the mid over on ANTICIDE. Gentleman's code usually means that they're the ones to make something happen. So let's see what they have. Ryan is going to jump in a solo jump. God, it's a good jump. He already gets a nice clean rocket onto Eon. A nice serve, though. But it's good to say that was plan A.
It's nice if they have a plan B here.
Air shot, though.
Oh, no, it's Eon again.
Eon even follows up with his own air shot.
But they were so forward to be able to hit that air shot. They were able to force the enemy team, and this...
Oh no, Yak's gone down.
Sky is overcasting by those soldiers flying in. Atheas hurries out alive. Eon remains unforced. That was such a hectic, frantic event of fights that went out. Everyone wanted to hit the air shot, and they ended up forcing the enemy medic in that scenario. Eon was able to keep his own Uber intact, and now this point here is overripe for the plugging. Manix so far forward, but let's see if they still want to take this fight. I don't think it will work out in their favor if they do.
They're trying to bait them to overextend with the soldiers and the scouts over on... Oh, Hughie with a nice little trap gets a surprise kill onto Junu now, and that's going to be a bit hairy, a bit awkward. They could still keep fighting this, even though they have Uber charge. There's a good opportunity for Blank to make that very move where he jumps onto Eon and forces out that Uber. Sure, you get mid for now.
You know what's absolutely lovely? Ryan is usually this, well, big prodigy jumping in, but Blank realized, okay, my other soldiers down, but I am in a prime position from Cafe to utilize all the space given to me by the fact that the enemy team is so preoccupied with dealing with the players in Flower, and it means it nets them this 50% Uber advantage.
Alright, 100% Uber, Pandemic, already on the prowl, checking these stickies, making sure there's nothing hiding in the wings. Hughie trying to just pepper out, start off this Uber on a good step, and just dodging the spam. It looks like they want to get greedy with it. I don't think they want to pop early here. They already bust in with Blank. The flank is also coming in cleanly as well. This is almost textbook TF2.
Almost seemed as if it brooked no alternative for VNC, since they simply got outgunned there from the Flower.
Oh, Eon brought down low.
50 HP. 50 HP does keep himself alive though, and the nerves in his hand. Nerves are made of steel. But now Tyrann is jumping in onto Theas. Brilliant serve.
Yep. I don't think there was too much worry there. It was just one lowly soldier as Venomcrest were just planted over on second, keeping things safe and sound. Making a push from the valley, seeing if they can overwhelm someone on the flank there. They're not going to take it. Already Sticking's hiding there, so this match might catch them off guard. Ryan busting for the choke, but hasn't called out the stickies for his team. So, and the flankers also managed to weasel the way in as well. And Ryan, he's a massive pest behind. So he's actually cut off the exit for them. They're going to have to maybe take an Uber into this connecting point of second and last. And yes, to say they're losing their second, they still have to use Uber to get out.
It was such an amazing position for him to simply take and then hit all the rockets. Ryan actually trades 3 players for him alongside with the Uber, and now all the rest of the players are coming through. Eon dies not out into spawn early enough, and it's probably going to be a very easy last cap, since they play this so slow and methodical. Yeah, the heavy weapons guys on the field. Yeah, the stickies are coming in from the deck, but it's 6 versus 3 players. I don't see this working out for Red.
Cool, calm, and collected over on Anticide, and yeah, just playing them like a fiddle. Nobody could really predict that sort of plan coming out. Like, Ryan, go jump in, breach through the choke, make sure it's safe, go behind, kill 2 people, and make sure you force the Uber as well. Okay, thanks, buddy.
I mean, it's not that often that with your mere abode you are able to, get 3 players down and force an Uber. It doesn't get any better than that on a Roma, and I don't want to put him so much on a pedestal. My view and opinion of him is already so high, but we enter the second mid fight here. Ryan is on that cafe area, spamming a little bit from afar. TRM occupying and officiating that blue Tetris area. Pandemic is claimed as the earliest victim of that mid.
Yeah, with a scout down this early, it's just way too valuable of a class to kind of keep fighting on this mid. So I agree to the back out over on Anticide, showing maybe some more layers. Ryan picking off those kind of over-aggressive flank players, and they're actually taking the fight to them. To say they're a combo, it's just the flank going in, and yeah, that worked as well as you think it would.
It worked fantastically. I mean, they're still taking this flower area here and gaining traction from this point on. KN so weak though, not able to break.
Where KN is like, where's my team? Why did they beat me?
They're all on mid because they didn't want to die. They want to look way better on logs in comparison, but that was a mere mockery of the soldier class. Evidently, no ancillary pressure was coming in to protect the soldier, but in the end result, only loses you a soldier. I know it's a little bit of a tilt-worthy factor, but you still want to iron out the edges, and it means it slows down.
Okay, 1-0, 22 minutes, and they've got mid-control. It's not quite panic stations over on Venomcrest here, but now it's their turn to see what creative plays they can come up with between breaking the second hold. And it looks like maybe some plays on flank. It's maybe just more like Medic's gifting that frag to them.
Did Manix not see those players? It feels like he's trapped in a lucid dream whenever he's not on sniper. Like you try to punch in a dream, but doesn't really account for that much of an impact. Tyrion is again spamming, but the stick is already present. A very sticky situation. Can't walk through. You can jump through though.
So low. Look at everyone. They're absolutely being like crushed with spam and pepper. They're all the way back in the corner. They finally call it. It's not a hold they want to make.
I mean, we were talking about the fact that probably ANTICIDE has better DM, but we saw brilliant focus fire simply walking through flower and spamming everything and ignoring the stickies since they were not really presenting any danger if you don't walk through it. So spam them down, spam them from afar, and now it is onto the hands of the red team to make a decent push.
All right, Pyro, Engineer. Classics here just to kind of keep the central gun. Okay, well, we tried to keep the central gun alive, but there was too much spam being had between a Dairyman soldier and another soldier. What can the lowly little pandemic Pyro do?
Well, let's see, maybe ANTICIDE want to up the ante of defending the last point here. Pandemics in Theorem is called indeed. The tour de force is cancelled.
Yeah, Theorem's just like, oh, you got me, buddy. I'll get you next time. He just goes back and clocks out.
Yeah, I mean, just, you know, visiting your family, but already backing up from it. I don't see sniper class. I was already expecting it, but now Manix is on engineer duty, evidently.
Okay, they kill the teleporter, but I think that just helps them, really. It's kind of a bait. It gives more metal than it actually costs, so it makes things a bit quicker for Manix to build up this level 3 sentry gun. And yeah, now it's still up to the eyes of Venomcrest, see what they can kind of work with. Usually you have somebody kind of just suiciding in, but they're instead trying to flood this side of the left, and they find Ryan. That's a nice kill to start off things.
Might even find another, never mind. KN is called. You saw how wonderful 3 players already went in and they were so far away, so it could definitely work, but now they're aware that Pandemic is reflecting some stuff away and Eon might get forced here in a pretty awkward scenario, but the flashes are being pulled through the Pyros on the field and Pyro ruins the fun if you read Reddit.
I mean, I really liked what Venomcrest were cooking there. The only thing I didn't like was they popped the Uber so early. I think they could have toyed with the fact that they had those numbers advantages, just keep, you know, just jostling the point over and over again, you know, with these scouts, but they instead, like, just take a trade. Why?
It was a very wonderful impetus, I do agree on that one, but the problem is if you're a medic and you're like below the rafter there, then it's a very well, quick fragging potential for you, so sort of I can qualify the notion there that it definitely does make sense to pop in that situation, but in the end it also doesn't lose you that much, also doesn't win you the end push. But I do agree, like you see 3 players jumped through left since they realized the demo man was on the opposite side, and instead of suiciding only 1 player, you already created another opening, but you have to do it all again.
Ryan, he spotted that he just happened to shoot the stickies at the exact same time that Tyrone was walking in. Now Tyrone's probably heading over to the ETF2L admin page right now. This guy has got some sort of radar. How did he see me there?
Or maybe, well, try your hands on a different off class. You can hold open the shutter for another player to maybe try their hands. You see, Tyrion is holding open the shutter as if I would have known that Juno is backing up. Now they have a sniper on the field.
I don't know. Do you really want it? Well, Menix is playing the engineer, so he's less likely to want to switch off onto a counter sniper. But sniper's not been your friend this match over on Venomcrest. But who knows? There's still some time to kind of be contrary, as they're going to slowly walk him out over on the left, see if he can find the first pick. But the sticky's on there, so I think he might get kind of crushed if he does go for these hero plays.
That was so tentative by Juno. I was already picturing the sniper sideline. Can he be nimble with the trigger finger? No, Ryan is very nimble instead with his jumps and the rockets forward. Culls that aggression in its tracks.
Yeah, thought about rotating. Wants to try this left-hand side again. No counter sniper. They're just believing in the between the soldiers jumping about and the stickies are going to keep Juno out of harm's way, and they're all bunched up between all these buildings as well. Very annoying to deal with on the sniper class.
Honestly, the main risk that you run with having your medic in this sort of passive position is that you can be outgunned by the sheer amount of damage, not being able to be healed up, but Juno trying to peek, overpeaks and oversteps his boundaries.
Yeah, it was kind of a pseudo hero shot there, just kind of going around blankly and being launched up in the air, just took the shot, didn't quite land on anything. Pretty much impossible to actually get a shot onto Theos here. They pop off Uber, they just want to get the Ubers out of the exchange and then take the tactics. Oh my god, the backhand of the frontier of Justice. Justice has been swift and it hurts. And yeah, poor Yak. And okay, they try to maybe cause some ruckus on the other side for Frontirum. They did this play, you know, while they had their sniper down. So it was like a 5 versus 6 need, I remind you.
Since they have 10 seconds only, I think they were banking on the follow-up aggression for this dry fight, but alas, not fast enough on the draw. 1-0. You see it here, stalemate in terms of concrete rounds, so we're starting all over. The engineer is so NG here. You saw, I mean, Manix, you know, needs to hit headshots to get 150, but on engineer, you don't even need to hit headshots. No, just Frontier Justice crits, and that does even more damage. He has figured it out all along the lines of it. Also, we had a spy, apparently. They're just checking if there's a heavy to mid, but I can tell you that with our very big knowledge, there will be no heavy to mid.
Yes, and it's just cookie cutter. They're instead all going to roll out from Valley and start, and actually both mirroring each other. They're just going to start rotating around and just trying to absorb the aggression. Blank doesn't make it easy for them. Initially jumps in, but stays alive long enough for the rest of his team to cut across the point, and it's very easy and very quick and very swift from ANTICIDE on top of Venomcrest. That's a wipe, Domator.
They have to condone with Ryan again. It was simply Ryan. Simply Ryan on that on Eon, and Eon falling down. Another complementary player followed him to that respawn queue that you don't like to visit after all, and Yak only has to put some protective stickies on the point. They don't even dare to switch to crits now. Let's see if they can build it up, but I don't see this one being up to par here. They have to defend it on an uber disadvantage.
Oh my god, they've all gone to the side that they started to hide from them. They were actually hiding on that side, expecting the push from the left, and yeah, they pop off Uber relatively late, all things said, and first objective is to try and actually kill Aeon. They actually have Aeon delivered to these scouts on point instead. The no heals in the wings for Venomcrest, but they take out enough fighting classes in all of this chaos that it nets them the defense.
Eon delivered on a silver platter. Fantastic serve on the beach, as you can tell, but then in front of the enemy team's scout and able to be plucked away like a flower.
Oh,
and
no.
Theos now beams, but Manix on a 5k dominating Vanu.
Yeah, it's like a mirage, these second points that you can make a push out of. Without the heals, it's very difficult to make these push outs as clean and effective and like held as well. Sure, you get the second point maybe sometimes, but you also get claimed back just as quickly. And what's even worse, you bleed a couple of players like they've done. They've Ubered in already into this last point. They're on top of the heavy weapons guy. He's been cleaned up. KN is the only one finding kills for his team and buying some times, maybe as well as the stickies. So much time actually bought by KN. Finally will go down. Eon, they doesn't quite have Uber, isn't really going to be contributing much to his team, especially when he's died now. And God, Yak is just the only one alive, but it doesn't have enough gap. Oh wait, no, two respawners have come back. Player 2 and 3 have entered the game, and they've ransacked this point. Yak has managed to bought his team enough time by just keeping himself alive.
Manix is through from dungeon. Can he win a 1v2 already? Vanu is one pick. Can he do another one?
Oh,
no. KN. Okay, KN. He not only bought so much time for his players to spawn, he also won that 1v1. I was already going to say profoundly curated there on this defense, but alas, it was not coming to fruition. They don't even get the second cap here. Ryan is in, though, onto the sky. Blank dealt with, and Tirem still down on the field. Yak has to do it all by himself, but it is KN on the front, finally going to secure the second point.
There's arrow wars between these two teams. They're so spread thin. Everyone was brought down so low and just brought back to health so many times. But Venomcrest finally come out of this sailing, and they're going to keep the party going. They've got second point now. They're going to stack onto mid. I don't think they're going to deny any spawns. Those spawners will be back in time for the second defense.
You know what's crazy? Like, again, they played that so profoundly and very slow on that last point, but KN simply being a hero, double scout coming in, flushing them all out, and it stays 1-0. Definitely tieable. Very welcome side if you are a fan of Venomcrest, and they're trying to climb that crest right now. Not that much of a steep hill to avail, and to come out on top. KN is hiding a little bit there in front of Cafe, spots the stickies, the early stickers.
Oh, Tyram almost got killed by those stickies that were cleared by KN. Will still go down, however, but it's okay. That was all part of the plan. They were just throwing Tyram in. It was just an unfortunate end.
Appending their soldiers, but Vanu now has to fight a losing battle. 1v2, Ryan versus Lennox. Never mind. Well.
Wow, that was very good by Vanu.
Actually.
Yeah, gets a nice little sidestep kill, kills Ryan, and now this is another kind of excuse for them to go into the second. They've got it in quite cleanly. Juno has got a nice solo Uber on his hands. Now he can just need to fight as many players that are part of this Uber as possible, and in all the kind of splitting, they actually managed to push out poor ANTICIDE.
It insinuates them to push out even further ahead, since that could be indicative of their scouts coming through now, being on top of the enemy team scouts, or at least on par, as KN is already leaping into the sky, overcasting sky by soldiers. Ryan keeps alive on 4 HP, that's 4 HP for the enemy team, since if Ryan is alive on the field, that's 4 for you. Eon only then beaming Yak, but this Uber is called off.
Yeah, it was a very nice decision for Menex to just come straight as heavy there, predicting that they were just going to make a push in all wild and out of control from Venomcrest. If they started building the sentry gun, expecting like a lot of teams to just calm things down and build the Uber there, it could have been a different story.
The remnants of those players definitely did pull through. I mean, Menex, yeah, so accomplished on so many off classes, and still VNC not able to pull through. Now buffing their players up on Uber, have to look at what suicide wave they want to brew up here, but Vanu is on heavy again.
Yeah, he's not only on heavy, he's bought out a different snack. He's bought the Dolocus bar, so this is going to be a super heavy with super health coming into this, hopefully a super last push.
Maybe he also gets the enemy team's damage per minute stats super high, as they can all shoot a heavy. No! Vanu is unexpected, cleans off and finishes off Ryan on the underneath area. He is the jailer, he's the turnkey, claiming all those victims, incarcerating them, and trundling toward that point here. May even be able to lay a single hand on it in a mere second. Blank down, so low on HP. They're Uber heavy on the point. Uber heavy versus Uber heavy. Turbo.
Well, this is Highlander, huh? I could maybe get used to this. Okay, no, I can't. They actually ended up just not even trading out or backing out. They just fight it to the dead end. And I think the reason this was all kind of going awry for Venomcrest was Blank was just being such a pest to Yak and I think Tyram behind. They brought him down low and distracted them during all of that.
KN does fall in the aftermath of it, but he's definitely the star player for me, honestly, so far. He brought so much time, almost even won a 1v1 versus Ryan on the checkpoint, and it allowed his players to come in here, claim Ryan on the second point. They don't even get the cap of it, and domination on Ryan is all that there is ringing out now.
Oh, it doesn't quite work out. Goes for the kill onto Fios. Will actually rotate back and Banny binds the safety. And yeah, Eon, he's got a very sizable Uber. I'm not sure if they'll be aware of this, but maybe with Fios so focused on running away, they might assume that he wasn't building.
Maybe he's focused on keeping the numbers in his head and the clock very nearby as well, since he's realizing we have an Uber advantage. Let's go, team. Yak is Ubered on, and the Pocket Scout as well claims Blank. No. So two down now. No Hugie, no defensive stickies.
Yeah, but they do lose Yak as well, so they can't even play the point like they would hope with their own demo man. So, and they just come back fresh as ever and a heavy weapons guy on their own team. If they had Yak still for the bouts of that fight, it might have been a very different last point. But
TRM is on last. Cannot find it. 1v3. They were checking their backlines, and it's apodictic maybe to call out, but it is ANTICIDE sort of serving to VNC what they have suffered from the heavy numerous times before. Now they're very accomplished on heavy, and we see this mid-fight ringing out.
Vanu rocking the spy class. Gonna pick up a couple ammo packs, and he's right behind the medic. They aren't aware of him, they don't hear him, he finally turns around at the absolute last second. He must have felt his breath on his neck.
Maybe he's so accustomed to now all those players. Yak is caught in transition, lost in translation, didn't call out early enough that they were already out, and the shudder might make him shudder as well there. Vanu backing up into spawn, heavy weapons guy on the field, but the second point only ticking down now. TRM fighting against Blank, and now the last point is open for the grabs here. So much cap time already done.
Yeah, sadly, Pandemic did go off of it just a little bit earlier than they might have led to a round straight off. But yeah, they actually get the Uber, and Yak is back to the world of living. And more importantly, he's finding kills. He's not being surrounded. He's actually keeping the point defended. 2 respawners come back now, but they can just knock Yak off of the point. And because there's no souls left to stand on it, it's gonna be a second round.
I mean, 4 pipes and 2 stickies, I think, hit in rapid succession without missing it. Yak was definitely pulling it back, 98% as well on Eon, being able to be plucked out of contingency and then using that Uber. But they locked off the spawns as well. ANTICIDE realized, well, they have spawners, but if those spawners can't even leave spawn, who cares anyway? But I want to infuse some convalescent measures into Venomcrest. Now it is their time to up the ante again as on process, but they're not down 4-0, no, only 2-0.
Alright, and yeah, much more defensive mid for Venomcrest this time around, and they're holding well. They're actually keeping the line and the blob very healthy, nobody stepping out of line, and more importantly, Fios cannot get out. They cut it off his only exit by cutting his life, and with 3 players coming in, they're all going to be eyeing for Eon.
Eon was so aware of that. He has read that book of flying soldiers long time ago. Manix has claimed Ryan as well, playing 3 players down with the feed. Very easy for Eon as well. He was hiding in the enemy team's choke, was so far ahead, and then Ryan and Blank landed simultaneously. Hugie caught out in lobby, tried to stick out, but was not expecting KN to already be on the doorstep, and there are 4 players down at the advent of that last push.
Is this Froyotech? Have they already some bright Froyotech energy coming out already at their last? The Wolf is at their door and they're blowing it down. They will actually clean up all these kills and get the cap easily over on Venomcrest. There's some hope in their hearts.
So vigorous. You were talking about the Mirage early. It seemed like a chimera, like at a halftime sort of phase, but now it turns in such a wonderful conclusion for them, since being down 2-0, claiming a 2-1 in a nick of 2.5 minutes, and then charging absolutely upon it, taking all this space and all the momentum from mid, and then absolutely casting into the enemy team, even with an Uber advantage. TRM now on the bell tower. Can he ring some bells? Ryan on the cafe as well. Cafe rather does not find the rockets.
Oh, Ryan actually takes a health back and he's coming in from behind. They don't expect the huge flank coming out from Ryan. Gets the kill onto Eon, and now it's an easier game for them to play. Fios is already out. Fios smells the danger that he's in and pushes to his own cafe, hoovers up a quick croissant and keeps himself safe, and he's going to be joined by his buddy Menex, who's going to really get him out. Vanu, oh, shot down, gun down, no.
Boom! Manix is still on the field, you know, not on Sniper, but on Scout. He's pretty good at Scout, I heard, and he is keeping his medic safe 100%, but you're on the receiving scenario, holding your own a second. Let's see if they even want to trundle toward that mid-bank, secured the cafe area, since VNC did not want to push way too eager, since they're building on their own choke.
Still holding relatively close, I think, over on Venomcrest. I guess they really want to get this force out, and they're willing to risk a couple more bodies for it. They finally pop off the Uber over on ANTICIDE, and they find Vanu, who kind of gave him his own life away to him as well in the cafe area. And actually, Ank getting a bit eager, maybe carrying the spirit of that Uber charge, but not quite. And is Juno going to go down as well? Everyone's just having a good feed.
And Blank was 2 for 4. He didn't expect a 1v3 to ring in his disfavor in a mere second, but I didn't even see why ANTICIDE needed to push to pop the Uber there. Fierce was on full health, everyone else, they only saw red players, and the trap! Huge trap! You hear the sizzling, and that is the cacophony for Eon's life. Absolutely gets eradicated out of the picture, and TRM tries to leave, but nothing is found anymore.
Oh, it must be hidden by the fern. I knew the plants would betray them over on Venomcrest now. They're tasting the sweet ANTICIDE, the poison festering through their body, it's gotta hurt, it's gotta suck, and now they gotta give up second, maybe even last.
I mean, if you're just trending here on songs, then I hope they're not out of touch, but they hopefully are also not out of time, as they're already touching the point here and have so much time to play for. Theos uses that Uber after being jumped by a T-Ram, who also defends that point, but Centrigan dealt with T-Ram down. So much cap time, 3-1 on the trot. 2 minutes still to tie it out, but you really gotta try to take it to a tie, since that is all that you can hope for, honestly. They looked so well, but getting rolled over now.
You're seeing a lot of facets of this ANTICIDE team. They're looking very well rounded to say it's a week 1 affair. So credit to them so far. Venomcrest though, they are biting back here and there, but it just takes them 20 minutes, 25 minutes at a time to kind of get their asses into gear, and there's just not enough time. This isn't America, sadly.
This is a distressing time to play with. Honestly, you need to be a bit more faster on the rotation. Now this Pandemic controlling his own Tetris, but Ryan and Blank, no soldiers on the field anymore for this blue squadron. Losing Hughie as well. They're on the chase. Yak is jumping. Yak is on Theos. And it is KN also being on the enemy medic. Eon does survive. Only one player left. Wipe the whiteboard. Wipe your screen. Wipe your question counter sometimes. But that's a full wipe. And unfortunately, they have to be so fast here.
Yeah, I mean, they are making a case for getting these rounds back on the board as quick as possible. Crit Sticky, 1 on each side. The rare Demoman lockout of each side of the door. But the second point, Cap so agonizingly slow. And they finally come out of the doorway. They don't have enough bodies on the point in time. They come out of the gates blazing over on ANTICIDE.
Enemy at the gates. I was about to say, can they do one entire round in 1 minute? But apparently, alas, they could not even do that round here. T-Ram finishes himself off on Manix. I don't even see Vaughn. Blank is in. No, never mind. He's on it.
Yeah,
what are you looking at?
Vanu, he was like looking at the heavy on the last point. He wants to, think about just coming in and just capping off that point to say how much cap time there is, but they obviously aren't going to do that without a fight. Menix standing menacingly on the point as that heavy weapons guy, and yeah, they're trying to eke people in from this doorway. Overwhelm on the right. KN's rocking the funny huntsman class, but it's not finding any picks, and his teams aren't finding any life. They're going to go down, and Eon is probably going to go down with them.
A plethora of GGs ringing out. 3-1 on Sunshine for ANTICIDE. And if I add those 3 points for that map win to the other map win, that makes 6 points. They are taking all the points. Venomcrest, 0 points. We saw the cornucopia of shenanigans and wonderful, plays being brought to the table, but we already alluded to it, or I alluded to it, you said it bluntly, too slow on those good ideas, sometimes lacking in the compartment of deathmatch, and definitely looking quite well and swell, but really not managing to seal things off when it's needed.
Yeah, some of the successes that were being pulled out from Venomcrest was due to the nature of their team. They're all a bunch of skirmish, kind of solo, YOLO, heavy sort of lords. They're very, very good at these sort of 1v1s, these pulling out the rabbits out of the hat, but it betrays them. It's a double-edged sword, and it hurts a bit more on the other side than it does the side that they're aiming with. And yeah, I think that they're going to have to come to terms with either making that side just a bit more sharper, or just dragging these players into the mud a bit more with them than just relying on this sort of skirmish, 1v1 fighting style. It's not working out, especially when you're actually meeting people that kind of almost win some of these skirmishes every now and then.
How the cool kids on the block say, if you have too many main characters in your team and no one is going to sacrifice themselves for the greater goal, then it will not work out. So you sort of need to find the common denominator. I have a common denominator for us. Looking at logs here from Sunshine, Manix top fragging, 25 frags, pretty decent, but you know what? To throw in the fray, 9 deaths only, 2.8 KD. It was Pandemic top scoring before, now it is Manix. We didn't even see him that much on the sniper, but the heavy weapons guy was mostly where, what I can't even do like vocabulary anymore, but where there was it. Because he was on last, he was defending last for an eternity. He claimed all those flying soldiers. He claimed all the frags that he could. Vanu, after that, coming in on 21 kills, also shared alongside it, juxtaposed with KN, 21 frags, looking at medic stats, 0 drop on Theos, 1 drop on Eon, 30 medigun charges compared to 10 medigun charges and 1 crit streak. I am going to leave the rest of the logs to you and ask a question, because you know what else can be followed up by logs? Drama, but also just interviews.
Well, the only thing I'm going to tease about these logs is maybe tease poor Yak. I mean, he didn't go into the last damage this time. He beat TFM. That's something, but it's fine. It's kind of hard, when you're getting wiped on these mids, and then you're kind of stuck at cookie cutter last. And a lot of times there were a lot of clutches coming out because Yak was keeping himself alive and just doing his job, keeping that last point just well peppered and stickied. But it's got to be hard if you're in a team with all these sorts of like solo YOLO artists. A Demo Man needs a lot of support usually in these higher echelons of TF2.
You definitely do need that. I mean, he was pulling his weight in that sort of sense that he was an anchor, but you need to pull the damage through. But I'm going to catch you on that, but turbo taps. But do we have actual players with us?
All right, so I'm going to transition seamlessly from our current sort of podium and then head over to the green room. Hopefully we'll talk to... Oh, no, not quite yet. Okay, so we're just going to hold off a little bit, and then when we get all the players all ready and booked, and then we'll head on over to the interview process.
Can definitely do that, but just stay tuned. We'll meet you with other players in a mere second as we are flawlessly switching and segue.
All right.
Oh.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me, players? Are you in there? Can you hear my sultry voice?
I wish it was sultry.
Yeah, I wish to. All right. We welcome in Yak from Venomcrest, and we also welcome in Pandemic from ANTICIDE. Gentlemen, welcome and thank you for joining us in the interview. I'm going to start off swift and start with you, Yak. What happened? What do you want to address here from your match? What went wrong?
I don't know. Like, we just didn't win. It was close game, but we just had some exploding incidents. Some guys just exploding at inconvenient times, particularly on process, which was a bit of a shame. Because I feel if we played the first half of process like we played the second half, we probably could have won it. But we're just exploding.
Pandemic, obviously you won the match, so a lot less was going wrong for your team, but I know what you guys are like. You're always perfectionists over in this Premiership tier. Was there anything you weren't impressed with from tonight's match at all?
I think in general we're just missing out on these like really good advantages. I think it was like really obvious. Like we had like certain last pushes where we take it for free, and then all of a sudden we're all wiping, and then we have to back out from last. I think these types of situations happens a lot in scrims, and I think since this is our first official, it happened again. But I think we're doing our like utmost best to just fix them in a, I don't know, proper manner. But yeah.
Yak, obviously you guys are coming back from LAN and then kind of prepping yourselves for online TF2 as opposed to like LAN TF2. Is that majorly different? Is it hard to kind of get accustomed to online TF2 again, or is it quite easy for you guys to just get back into it?
I mean, it's the same game, but you play versus some things online that I don't think happen on LAN. Some people think that there's some interesting shadows going on, and none of our spy plays seem to work, which was a bit of a shame. Some people like to alter their game files. That's all I'm going to say.
Interesting. Okay. Well, Pandemic, before we get into major accusations here, obviously you've got a different sort of challenge coming into the season. This is a new team, brand spanking new, not really any sort of skeleton or framework to work off. You all guys just all came together. Like, how did this team even
I think it started with me and Ryan. We've been always like good friends ever since TLR, and I think we picked up like it's just a team with bunch of friends. We mostly hang out like all the time together. We talk strats or we just I don't know, do random shit. But
That's all right.
I think it just came out like, okay, we want to play TF2 with the people that we hang out a lot, that we feel close to, and I think that way it would be more fun. And since LAN is coming up, we're kind of preparing for LAN and at the same time for officials or like during the season as well online. So yeah, I think this is really going really good so far. So hopefully in LAN it'll be that way as well.
All right, Yak, it's week one. So, like a lot of interviews in week one I've asked in the past, I'm going to ask you, what are your goals as a team this season? Are you guys like just enjoying the season? Do you have like a placement in mind? What do you want to get out of this ETF2L?
We want to learn. We want to do some learning. You know, main focus is obviously on LAN rather than the season. People have got busy lives, and it can be a bit of a struggle sometimes to have the time to play online. So the aim is to just learn. Whereas last season we were kind of playing for fun and just enjoying the game. Now we want to, learn, get some things in our arsenal to try and win for LAN. But if I had to put a concrete goal on it, it is to make playoffs. But this was probably like a playoffs deciding offie, potentially. So it's a bit of a shame to fumble 6 points this way. But the 6 more weeks, 6 more weeks.
It's all
But we
right. I
can,
mean, Four
yeah.
Fence won the season and they had a rocky start. Maybe this is just your little start to your little journey, just like Four Fence came out of it rocky at the last season. Pandemic. Obviously, I'm going to ask you the same question. I'm quizzical. What are your goals on ANTICIDE? Do you want to get just some more fun with your friends and this ETF2L season? Or are you guys like hoping to form like another really good super team here?
Um, sure, fun is. I mean, it should be there all the time, but I think we were looking to just get better as a team. I don't think, at least for the majority of people, it's not a one season type of thing, and I'm pretty sure most of the people know that. Like I live in Turkey, so getting into lands are really really tough. People don't understand this. I don't think. It's
Mhm.
like I need to just do all this paperwork. It's extra financially, so in general, we are basically moving towards LAN. So it's not only just like a season thing, as I said. But apart from the seasons and LAN, I think we're looking to just continue this over the seasons if possible.
Do you have a placement in mind for the ETF2L season? Do you guys feel so confident saying like, yeah, we're going to win it all straight away? Or is it you just focus on like playoffs for now?
No, nothing that grand. To be honest, like people just like put tier lists and put our teams, and they think like, oh, they're gonna do this and that, but we're basically focusing on our mistakes that we make. We're not really thinking about, oh yeah, we're looking for this spot or not. Like Witness is already like at the pinnacle, and we're struggling a lot against them, but it's actually like a good learning experience. Playing against them is always fun. You always learn something new. So we're just trying to just get better. We're not really thinking about placement, but obviously placing top 3 is always ideal. But yeah, that's about it.
Yak, this is a pretty stacked season that we've got ahead of us. I'm not, at least in my opinion, but
Yeah.
I want to hear about your opinion of the season. Is there any sort of little hot takes or sort of things that people have been saying that you don't quite agree with when it comes to these teams playing in this season?
I'll be honest, I don't have a clue what people have been saying. I just play and I focus on my team. I don't have. I was like, there was like some essentials thing that Eon was on, and then I was like in the chat, but I wasn't watching it. I was just in the chat,
I
like
see, yeah.
causing some. I didn't listen to it. Just in there, seeing that people write something to make someone mad. But I don't know what people said. I think that people put us as like I think people will put us as like a 5th/6th place team. I think that's probably fair. But yeah, 5th is close to playoffs. I think that it's going to be an interesting season. I think, and I don't think Mandem will be as good as they have been previously. That's probably like my biggest take, but I don't think that's even that controversial.
Yeah, a lot of
Losing,
people are looking at scrim results and just basing their opinions on those results. To be honest, which shouldn't be taken into
no,
account.
like we're a completely different team in scrims to offies generally, and I'd imagine it's the same for almost every team.
What about you, Pandemic? Is there anybody that's maybe you're maybe we can turn this into a positive thing? Is there somebody in the season that you're like, oh, actually, I think not enough people are putting stock into this particular team going into this ETF2L season?
I honestly didn't get the question.
Oh, right. Oh, basically, who do you think is like going to shock people in this ETF2L season?
Shock people?
Yeah.
I honestly don't know.
Touche.
I would like to say us, because it's a newly formed team. I think I want to shock people in a sense of like, oh, they're actually decent and pretty keen. But maybe Am's team, I think they would have potential, as well as like Mandem, even though they swap players. I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing. The core is still there, so. But yeah, Am's team, I think they could just work on. I think they're really keen. They could shock and man them at the same time, I think.
All right, yeah, I've got one last question for you. It's very simple, and
Yeah.
you're going to look like a genius one way or the other. Who do you think is going to win the ETF2L season?
Witness.
Okay, interesting. Pandemic, who do you think is going to win the ETF2L
Yeah,
season?
at the moment, Witness seems really, really strong. So
Okay, I was
probably Witness.
interesting. I wasn't sure if anyone was going to pick Forfens, the reigning champions, the ones that have kind of rocked the boat a little bit on week one.
Yeah, I saw the tail end of Witness versus Forfence yesterday.
Yeah.
But like it's Witness in the main season. They're just, vibing.
Yeah,
They're not like fully focused on the season, I feel. They're more focused on Poland and then going to Denver. So I don't really think week one of an ETF2L season is where you're going to see peak Witness. Like you go to playoffs, and they'll be the super team that they are.
All right. I think I've had all the fun questions I can think of. Tomato, have you got anything cooking back there that you're itching to ask our two players?
Yeah, shocking revelation. I just realized I'm also on this panel here, apparently visibly. I only have one last concrete question about this matchup, since we already had like an entire hour, it felt like, of talking. Concretely speaking, to both teams' players that are here. Pandemic, first question to you. Is the Manic Sniper a core anchor that we will see from that on, since on process he was simply not missing shots? Did you talk about that opportunity before, or was he just turning on, just hitting everything?
I think he's just naturally good as sniper. I mean, I didn't expect him to just like hit every shot, obviously, but we tried him on sniper on some of the scrims, and he was hitting pretty solid. And yeah, I think we just like pulled him off on our offie, thinking that he's probably gonna do well. So yeah, that was a thing that we talked about.
And segueing that question to Yak, since you were talking about this learning curve and this learning process that you might envision from your team, also talking about exploding players on process. Not sure if you were relating to that, but were you rocked by it? Did you not really know how to deal with the sniper? What was going through your mind there?
I wouldn't even say it's like the sniper that was making us explode. We were just exploding to everything. I think most of us have played Highlander at some point, so people kind of know you shouldn't stand in the sniper sight line. But yeah, Eon died at some pretty bad moments to MNX. But it's week one. We've had some rough scrims, but I think it's gonna, be fine.
Yeah, I mean, there could also be a lot of discussion about heavies, but we'll not go into that, Turbio. I think you covered it all to its fullest extent. So I just wanted to have a reasonable question here, so I'm not completely only on the panel for viewers to see, but that was it from me already.
All right, magical. Well, thank you both for coming on to the interviews. It's nice to have these back. I've missed your voices. Anyway, Yak, speaking do you have any sort of things you want to voice, like any shout outs, maybe a little shout out to your wonderful new sponsor? Congratulations, by the way.
Yeah, shout out to Venomcrest and Ace, not the Italian Ace, completely different Ace, a better Ace. Let's put it that way. As a human, and yeah, so big shout out to Venomcrest for supporting us. It'll really help us get to LAN. Shout out to my team, and shout out to Pibby.
Pandemic, have you got any special people out there you want to shout out to?
Shout out to my team and shout out to Mandem. They're great people.
Magical. All right. Well, if you guys are just
Oh
joining
wait,
us,
shout
okay.
out to you for casting.
Oh,
Yeah.
now that's the shout out I was looking for. I was baiting for it, but I thought you guys forgot. Oh, this is so sweet. All right. Well, thank you, Yak. Thank you, Pandemic, for joining us. And obviously, a big thank you to Venomcrest and to ANTICIDE for a wonderful game. That was our week 1 coverage. I've been Turtabs. With me has been Domato on the co-cast. And a big thank you to Samus as well for doing all the production and all that. And a big shout out to you guys watching out there. You know, you're the reason we do this. All right. So hopefully we'll see you all for the next games incoming. It's probably going to be week 2. Tune into all the good Team Fortress websites to find what's happening next with that. But you could also follow Essentials on all their media as well, and they'll keep you up to date with that. All right. We'll see you later now. Bye bye.